MLS season 2025. Dude, I'm hyped. You're hyped. Adam's hyped. He's at work right now, but he's hyped wherever he's at, dude. What is going on, guys? We're ready. Big MLS season. Julian, I got a lot of questions, dude. I want to pick your brain in this pod right now. I want to talk to you, dude. I really want to hear what you got to say. First and foremost, biggest question is Eastern Conference, Western Conference. Go ahead and give me your two right now. Who's going to be the top team? Who is the team that we need to look out for?
I do want to say this right before we get in is what a crazy winter transfer window for MLS. I think it is a record-breaking one. A lot of record-breaking individual, obviously the big names of Kevin Denke, Emmanuel Latilaf, like a ton of people. It's been a super, honestly, pretty transactional winter. So I'm pretty pumped for it. But yeah, as for the, you start off biggest team and surprise that's going to surprise us.
Yeah, all right, roll with that.
All right, we're going to do East and West. So my team that's going to surprise everybody, and I don't think a lot of people have this, is going to be a little bit of wild card, a little bit of a hot take, but I'm going New England. They just made incoming transfers to Leo Campana, Elijah Fangold from Israel, who was a big signing for them, Mamadou Fofana from Ligue 1, Brian Ceballos from Fortaleza down in Brazil, and we got Lagoni, who they signed last summer, as well as Ganago from Ligue 1 last summer. So they have essentially a brand new team outside of Carlos Hill, who obviously was the 2021 MVP of the year. Dude was a maestro. He was pulling the strings everywhere. But the past few years, they haven't really been the same, especially after that record-breaking season where they had Matt Turner and Adam, is it Posca? I'm drawing a blank on his name. They were unstoppable. They had Tejan Buchanan. That team was so good. And then, they lost a lot of the players. They made a ton of money in the transfer window, don't get me wrong, but they lost a lot of those players. They tried to revamp it, and then they had the whole Bruce Arena scandal. He leaves, and they're trying to fill it in last minute. But I think this is going to be a true fresh reboot for this team. I really like the weapons. I think Carlos Hill is going to revive this season. I think having Campana on top in front of him. I mean, look, I'm a Miami fan. I got a Miami training kit on. I think I'm pretty high on Campana, especially having that guy behind him. I'm really pumped for this. And I think Lagoni from Boca Juniors, he was a really good sign. They got a lot of young talent, and I think they really beefed up defensively as well. So I got New England here, man. I believe they're going to be a playoff team. Now, don't get me wrong. When we're saying teams that are going to surprise us the most, I'm not going to say like top 5. They're going to get top 3. They're going to get a home field advantage. More so like, look, they were, I think, second to last place last year. They're one of the worst teams. They're really close to wooden spoon. I'm predicting they might get up to 7 to 6. I think they might surprise people. People might not see it coming. The East in general is super deep right now. We're going to get into it a little later, but yeah. Who do you got in the East?
Yeah, man. Looking in the East, they pull it right now, see what, this is, I'm a realty, guys. This is just top straight off of my bat right now. I'm talking about fire speed. You got to give me a team to look out for, Julian. A team that I think they could shock some people compared to last season. I'm going to have to go with the layup answer, Atlanta United. I mean, listen, dude, obviously one of the
surprises though.
That's the thing though, but compared to last season, did they make? Yeah, they did. I see Miami. They knocked you guys. Yeah, they did knock you guys out. But they were, if I'm not wrong, what, the 9th seed? They had to play into that game to get in to even just face you guys. So I think this season's going to be a lot different. I mean, just looking even at names, obviously in the center back role, Luis Abraham, a young kid. I'm high on this guy. Efrain Morales, a Bolivian international. He's already been called up for the U20 team. They've got Noah Cobb back there. Obviously, Hernandez, the Venezuelan. And then obviously the midfield and the forward position, was kind of where last season Atlanta United, not to say they struggled. Obviously in the playoffs, they were able to come collectively together and beat you guys. But they really were able to put up, I mean, you're looking at some big pieces. Mill Burrows, man. Late Lati, obviously.
Latilaf, Miguel Neil.
Yeah.
I mean, Miguel Miranda, biggest MLS signing in history.
In history. Yeah. 22. Yeah, I don't see
the Belgian league.
This kid is no joke. This guy, and I say kid, he's 26 years old. He's not a joke. This guy is for real. Obviously, Middlesbrough, they weren't just going to take a penny for the guy. You know what I mean? It wasn't
Wait, no, he's from Middlesbrough. My bad. I was thinking of the guy in Cincinnati, Kevin Danke.
Kevin Daly.
He was the Golden
Yeah.
Boot. Never mind. Yeah, I got it mixed up.
But that
But
guy as
yeah,
well, that crazy. But dude, listen, I'm with you, man. I think Atlanta United, I think they've just found the right pieces. Listen, I think the biggest outlier again is going to be Brad Busan. Is that egghead looking man going to be able to save them yet again? I think that was probably one of the biggest areas that Atlanta probably wanted to find somebody. I'm not saying they needed to go out and buy, freaking Manuel Neuer or go find Ter Stegen and bring him out of injury, but they needed to find somebody, maybe a younger kid, maybe, I don't know, maybe kind of find a kid from the U20s, like a Chris Brady, who's played in the past, with the national team or with the U.S. youth national team. So, like I said, I know it's a layup answer, but I really think Atlanta United this season, I could see them finishing top three, top four within the Eastern Conference. I wouldn't even be shocked, dude, if they're right behind you guys. I really do, because I think this is a team that could push and really fight. I mean, they've already done it last year, dude. Listen, we obviously everybody knows, we talked a little bit about it here on this podcast as well. After last season's quarterfinals, I think Atlanta United pretty much showed they could take a blow. They're not scared of anybody. They're not scared of the moment, the time, the day, any place, anywhere. They're up for a battle. So we'll see. But Western Conference, though, Julian, let me go back to you. Who is your team to look out for in the Western Conference?
all right. The biggest improvement, one that's going to surprise you, the dark horse. I'm going
Mm.
San Jose, man. You're bringing in the legendary coach,
San
Bruce
Jose.
Arena. Bruce Arena, who where he's gone, he has won and
Okay.
been successful. He's been able to turn every single team around. I don't see why he can't with this. You're bringing in Chicho Arango, an MVP candidate, especially in the first half of the season. Dude's been unbelievable in the MLS, honestly. He did slow down a little bit late last year with Real Salt Lake. You're bringing in Joseph Martinez from Montreal. Like, now, obviously, this isn't the same Joseph Martinez from Atlanta, but
Yeah.
look, he's still a guy. He's still an MLS GOAT. He is a lethal goal scorer when he can be. I mean, there's moments in Montreal and in Miami where he still have flashes of that. Another guy I'm not super high on. I do think he's a decent quality MLS midfielder, and that's Mark Anthony Kane from Toronto, or no, my bad, New England. Uh,
Mhm.
I think that's a good signing. And then obviously their star player last year, Christian Espinoza, he's finally getting some help around him. He's had no help pretty much the past 2 seasons. San Jose's been in the gutter. They did horrible. And I think you're putting in 2 lethal goal scorers in front of them. That's gonna be, I think they're gonna surprise some teams, really. And Bruce Arena has always been able to kind of have teams kind of punch above their weight. New England was one of those where he was able to build this roster, and that was really well put together. And I honestly thought he was going to do it again, and I think he would have if it wasn't for the whatever happened over there. But
Yeah.
you think I don't know. This is another one of these teams, just like how I felt with New England is. I don't know if they're going to be top 5. I don't necessarily see that. Some people have them ranking pretty high. Like, I like Bruce Arena and his systems and stuff, but
Yeah.
I do think uh, there might be in that bottom half of the playoff bracket, which is good. And to be fair, the Western Conference, at least as we're seeing it right now, times things change as the season goes on. Western Conference is seen a little bit weaker compared to the East. The East seems like super stacked right now. But yeah, that's my Western team. What do you got?
I like that, dude. I like the shout. I like the shout. Listen, man, like you said, the GOAT, Bruce Arenas, he's a funny guy. Listen, man, I'm going to shout out somebody else, dude. I'm going to shout out my boy Zach Steffen, man, over at Colorado Rapids, dude. Listen, I think I'm going to be honest with you. I was not on this team train. I was not bullish on these guys. I was not a hype man. Like you said, Julian, before I continue, guys, I'm not saying Colorado Rapids are about to win the fucking CONCACAF Champions Cup. I'm not saying that they're about to win everything and that, they're going to go to the Club World Cup and whip Real Madrid ass. Like, that's not going to happen. But I will say that I think this team, and it wouldn't be to the biggest surprise because last year they already did make the playoffs. If I'm not wrong, I want to say they were a 7th seed, faced LA Galaxy, obviously got their ass wiped by the Galaxy in that first playoff matchup. So, it's going to be a little bit different, but kind of similarly how I was looking to my Eastern Conference team, I kind of feel the same way with the Rapids. I really feel like they can maybe sneak a 4th or 5th place finish. Obviously the Rapids were super, super crazy during the break, obviously picking up like the likes of Reggie Cannon, a former U.S. men's national team player, Josh Atencio from Seattle Sounders, Rafael Navarro, the Brazilian from Palmeiras, which is a big one at that center forward role they kind of needed. Obviously, also picking up Theodore De Prieto from DC United, an attacking midfielder, somebody to kind of help link up with Jordy Mihalovic in the midfield, kind of be able to work together. Listen, dude, I saw this team play a few days ago, and if you guys haven't checked it out, how can I have it?
You see that banger goal?
Yeah.
Now,
Hey, y'all, if y'all have it, we're gonna be talking about that later. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check it out. But yeah, dude, listen, I think Reggie Cannon, Zach Steffen had a great game. And I'm basing this off a lot of one game highlights. I realize that. I know people are probably gonna say
freezing cold temperature.
freezing cold temperature, dude. But to see the way that team connected, dude, obviously with Navarro up top, I don't think he looked the best, but I got to shout out my boy Cabral as well, man. A former all-timer MLS league guy. He's been in the league now for quite some time, but he looked good as well up top. Just quick pace. I think the biggest thing is if Colorado can finish strong this season. We always know they start the season, even like last year, they were able to start out with some good pace, kind of be able to pick it up, kind of starting in that fourth, fifth role. But I really feel like they have the pieces now, and they're able to go to a little bit more bench pieces and role players that they can rely on. Obviously, Jordy Mihalovic is going to be the center of the team. They're going to be looking a lot towards him. Obviously, Zach Steffen's going to have big moments as well. But it's really these role players with Cabral, with De Prieto, with even in their center back role with like an Ian Murphy. These guys they got to step up and really get there. Also, dude, I really like Cole Bassett as well. This past week, I was able to watch a little bit of that. Him and that midfield trio. It was Cole, Jordy, and
Another guy on
Red. Yeah, they had a redhead kid, Oliver Lars, something like that. Redhead stud. I really like the team, dude. They played well. They looked good together. Colorado, like I said, they're a team to watch. I think they could be a scary team, but we will see what they can bring this season. But Julian, next question I want to ask you though, man, is Eastern Conference, Western Conference. Who's your top team? Who's going to be the team to look out? I say team to look out for.
You want to do top teams or biggest fall?
Let's do top
fall from grade.
Go top.
Okay, top team. All right.
Yeah.
All right. My East, my top 3 teams. I got Miami.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I got Miami in first.
I
got Cincinnati in second, and I got Atlanta third place. I'm not going to dive too much into Atlanta because, you already kind of, and I kind of feel the same way. The only thing I would want to add is I thought Miranchuk late last summer, and I can never pronounce this guy's name, the Georgian, should say, I don't know. He's the right winger for them. And that dude was, every time he played, that dude was electric, especially in transition. He was fast. I know people in the comments are going to kill me for butchering that guy's name. Levince.
Yeah.
Lejean. I'm even reading it right now, and I can't pronounce it. But either way, dude is a baller. Miranchuk was really good late last season. I said being able to have Miranchuk, Almiron, Latte La, dude, they're going to be so good. My only concern is in the same way I feel with you with Brad Guzan. I don't know if he can do that again like he did last year. Like I said, this guy's just getting super, super old, and it doesn't feel like they have anybody in the wing and like waiting in the background that could take over. Correct me if I'm wrong if you're an Atlanta United fan, but at least somebody I don't know. Now, as for Cincy taking advantage of the new rule where you can now have interleague transfers, which is awesome. You no longer have to trade or give up GAM or anything. And one of the big signings from this was Evander going from Portland to Cincinnati for, I believe, around $12 million, which I tell you what, I thought I'll never see the day, but I love that we have interleague transfers now. It is awesome. I love interleague transfers. Evander, MVP contender last year. Dude was unstoppable in Portland. He's been so good. Then on top of that, you're putting, like I said, the Golden Boot Belgium League winner, Kevin Danke, in front of him as Cercle Brugge. And then you have Luca Orellano from Vasco da Gama to the left, on the right, in the wing. So that attack is going to be super, super scary, and I'm really excited. I know, obviously, losing Acosta hurt because he was the MVP of 2023 and has been one of the best players in the league for like the past 5 years or something like that. But you're basically replacing him with a younger, bigger version of himself and Evander. So I think Cincy is still going to be at top. They're going to look really good. And then Miami, what else is there to say? I mean, you had Messi, Suarez, Busquets, Alba. You bring in the likes of the Talasco Segovia. Uh, I can't remember his first name, but Allende, which I liked a lot in the Champions Cup game against Sporting KC as well as in the preseason. They did beef up defensively with Luan and Falcon, which
Not alone, baby.
we'll see. Well, we'll see what I mean. I haven't seen a lot from the new defenders come in because they came in pretty recently. So
He's got the fro, baby. That's all.
we'll see as time goes on. Drake Calendar is, it seems like goalkeeper's kind of up in the air. Is it going to be Usari, which I don't understand why he's even on the team. He's 39 years old and has honestly never really had a good career his entire life.
Yeah.
Versus Drake Calendar, who, you know, had his issues late last season, but he's still a quality shot stopper. So the goalkeeper position does kind of worry me a little bit, but this Miami team is looking to score goals and outscore everybody. So those are my top three in the East. Who do you got?
Mm. I gotta get. I'm gonna give a shout as well. Just kind of roll with like you were saying for my top three in the East. I've got one Inter Miami, two the New York Red Bulls, and three the Cincinnati. Listen, I'm gonna be real. You already kind of touched on Cincinnati. I saw that game last night against Motagua. A little bit of CCC that we were talking about earlier. Dude, listen, I think like you said, dude, I can't remember who scored the brace. You probably do. Lucho or what? Not Lucho. Or some crap like that.
I have to look at the game again. I actually kind of missed that game.
So a guy scored a brace. Listen, if you guys know the comments, let us now know below. Listen, he looked solid. Evander's well, man. I mean, dude, we already knew what he
I loved him last year, dude.
I think, and I mean, just see now that he has pieces, because at Portland, it almost kind of felt like he didn't have the pieces he needed. Now he's really a full, complete player. So he's got the kind of, the jack of trades that everything he needs to be able to possess for him to be a full, complete player. I think that's a scary mix, dude. And Kevin Denke, I mean, listen, man, this is the people are calling the son of Adebayor. You know what I mean? This is the next great guy from Togo. So I think he's scary, dude. I think he did it. He scored a goal last night. He's already off well preseason. They were already rolling. Cincinnati, if I'm not wrong, I do believe they had a little bit of a couple preseason games over in Marabella, Spain. So this team's already rolling, dude. Not much to say. You already hit it pretty well, Julian. New York Red Bulls. Listen, man, picking up an Eric Choupo-Moting, I think is the missing key for this team. And now, last season, obviously, made a run. It was, I guess you could say, they kind of made essentially, I guess you could say they made like a Washington Commanders NFL run,
And they're
kind of a team layered back. Yeah, hey, the cardiac Commanders, now you switch it over to the cardiac Red Bulls. Dude, kind of a Cinderella run, kind of a team that was out of it. I really think the thing is, last year, and it showed, obviously, Emils Forsberg can play in that role, and he can play as the 9, but that's not his role position. He doesn't even play like that with Sweden. He's a winger. He's an attacking winger, So I think it shows, obviously, a lot last season. I mean, dude, if I'm not wrong, I'm trying to remember the Jamaican, not Shamar Nicholson. It was, oh my God, Burke, something like that. Corey Burke. Dude,
was right.
you can only rely on Corey so much, as well. I think really picking up an Eric Choupo-Moting, I think the service is going to be good. Obviously, this New York Red Bulls team, we're very, very heavily relying on, oh my gosh, what's his name? Even he did well in the playoffs last season. And what's his Daniel Edelman, obviously, Lewis Morgan, another big guy in the midfield. And I love Lee Stag. Love Lewis. Hey, live, die, love Lewis Morgan. That's the guy, dude. But no, I really think they got the pieces around him that they need. And another guy, now granted, he's going to New York Red Bulls too, but I think potentially, dude, if you could maybe partner him alongside with him or something. But your boy, man, Andy Rojas, I think I kind of already, Julie and I precursor before we say this, we've already talked about this. I don't think he's gonna be at Red Bulls too for quite that often. I think I'm just gonna be real. I saw this with Carlos Harvey. They sent him to Minnesota United too. The dude scores a fucking hat trick, and then the next week he's at the first team. I think it's gonna be essentially low key, kind of the same thing. I see Andy Rojas going in, picking up like bagging 7 goals in 2 or 3 games, and they're gonna be like, oh my gosh, wow, this Central American kid that doesn't speak a lick of English is pretty good, And it's like we as guys that are already inside of the ball knowledge, we kind of already know this. So I think it's just gonna be a little bit of a shock.
It might be a roster rule thing too, honest, because he could have a higher transfer fee status.
Yeah.
Because I do want to say he was around 1 million, and it could have been like a roster because MLS with its roster rules being so weird. Maybe I mean the MLS Next Pro made sense.
Yeah. And he's a young kid,
Yeah.
but I could see something coming from that, so but I really think, dude, I think New York Red Bulls has the pieces to build from it and roll and Inter Miami. What else is to be said, dude? Listen, I really like the Falcon shout. I think, watching this guy play Libertadores last year, he played with Colo Colo, and dude, he really was dogging on teams. I remember watching specifically the Alianza Lima game in the group stage, both of the games for some of my Panamanian boys and Cecilia Waterman and Giovanni Ramos. Falcon was, I mean, he was a wall, dude. I'll just straight up say it. Waterman couldn't get around him, obviously taking into consent Waterman's not the best, he was a couple years back and stuff. But realizing, dude, I mean, still, that is a top level striker. And he wasn't just doing that there. He was doing that against Fluminense, doing it in some sort of way against a River Plate team. So I think that, everyone's always said it. Miami needs a center back. Miami needs a center back. You guys need a defender. Obviously with Thomas Alves, a younger kid, I think being able to put a Falcon there with them, I think it's a good blend. I think it's a good blend that'll answer a lot of pieces back there that we're missing. But yeah, man, Western Conference, I'm gonna roll with my top three real quick. I just want to hit it, and I want to hear what you got to say, and I want to hear your top three.
All right.
Julian, you might look at me and say, Will, what the hell? Will, what are you talking about? But I'm gonna shout him out. I already talked about him earlier. Third, I've got Colorado Rapids. Second,
Okay.
I got a little bit Seattle Sounders. And first,
Okay.
this is the first place pick before I continue. This is it fluctuating.
If it's not what I think it is, I'm gonna lose my mind.
I'm gonna be honest, dude. It could change. If Gabriel Peck leaves, Palmeiras dude, there's something going on. There's something in the works. Guys, hence we've recorded this obviously before Gabriel Peck's transfer, if he leaves or if he doesn't leave. But I've got the LA Galaxy as my number one team.
Okay.
I think, honestly, I think they're going to roll. I think they just have enough pieces. I think they've got enough. I genuinely think they're going to go for the supporter shield. I think the Galaxy have everything that they need. I mean, this is a team that's really, really building. Obviously, they lost the likes of Jovic and whatnot, but if they could keep Gabriel Peck, if they really could keep this guy, I think this team's set, dude. I think a lot of the answers, their goalkeeper with oh my God, I can't remember his name. The white guy. I mean, he was great.
Yeah, no, exactly. I know exactly what you're talking about, and I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. But the Galaxy, I think they're rolling with it, dude. Like I said, for second one, saw this team also a little bit last night. Seattle Sounders, dude. I think with obviously picking up the likes of Jesus Pereira, Paul Arriola, even Seattle.
That team, I just want to say that team is filled with MLS, U.S. men national team lifers. Like,
what I say, dude, Paul Arriola, Jesus for I mean, the captain
Jordan Royce, the Roldan orders.
yeah. I mean, well, obviously Eric is a El Salvador fit, but dude, the thing is like
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like the MLS guys.
Yeah. Yeah. But the thing is, like, dude, like you said, MLS lifers, these are guys. I think that's the thing. I think they're ready for this. I don't think LAFC. I love, I really do like a good Portland team. And, even Vancouver could potentially maybe scare some teams. But I really feel like this team, Seattle, they've got the pieces. They know what they need to do. They've done it in the past. You know what I mean? This is a MLS winning championship franchise. This is a CCC championship winning franchise. So I'll watch out for them, and then obviously Colorado, kind of like we touched up earlier. But what do you got, Julie? What are your top three?
Yeah. So I will say the West, I was really struggling. I don't mind the Colorado shot. I probably wouldn't put them top three. I thought about Seattle. I really did, but I felt like Seattle, with the way other teams are beefing up, I felt like they really were lackluster in this offseason, especially knowing that they had the Club World Cup coming up. It just felt like you got an MLS All-Star team from like 5 years ago. I wasn't really impressed with it. So my top, obviously LA Galaxy, nothing else needs to be said. I mean, this team is basically running it back. The only thing that sucks is you're missing probably top 3 player in MLS and Ricky Puig, which hurts. I mean, he could possibly come back towards the end of the next season. It all depends how his healing process comes. But you have Marco Royce, who is clearly going to move up and take that spot and replace Ricky Puig. They signed a couple midfielders and Lucas Sanabria from Nacional, and then they got a striker to replace Jovic and Mateus Nascimento from Botafogo. Granted, this guy is not necessarily was a part of that championship winning Botafogo team, but this is a guy he's supposed to be pretty good. So hopefully he can replace the likes of Jovic. I mean, with that way that team is with Paintsil and Peck, they should be able to and Marco Royce still, like, they should be able to dominate the league. And like I said, I agree with you. They should be shooting for supporter shield.
Yeah.
Number 2, I got Dallas, dude. Okay, Dallas is I almost had this as a shock. I was like, I don't know. I don't know. I thought Dallas is going to be really good. I think bringing in Luciano Acosta, who basically carried Cincinnati to a third place finish last year, and
Mhm.
with no striker in front of him because Blupenda was not who we thought they were going to be. But now he's about to put this guy Peter Musa, who came in last season from Benfica, who basically racked in goals for Dallas at the end of the last year. You're putting Luciano Costa in front of him. This is going to be like that Cincinnati team that won the
Yeah.
Supporters Shield 2 years ago. They're about to light it up.
Yeah.
I feel it. I think they made a lot of good signings outside of that. And then as for my third place, this is probably the biggest shock. But I feel it. I think it's the expansion club magic is going to hit, man. San Diego FC.
Really?
Hear my reasoning. Bringing in Chucky Lozano, who's
Yeah.
honestly, in my opinion, good enough to still be in Europe right now. You bring in
Okay.
Luca Della Torre, who I believe in the MLS level is going to be very, very good. Anders Dreyer, who was only behind Kevin Danke in
Yeah.
Golden Boot race in Belgium.
In Belgium.
And then
Yeah.
on top of that, there's a lot of talk of going to be a
Hey.
signing in the summer. Kevin De Bruyne,
Mhm.
possibly, who knows? But
Mhm.
there's going to be a big signing in the summer. I think that's really going to elevate this team because this is a super ambitious San Diego team. And then I think I liked a lot of the depth pieces that they made. I think your boy Hannibal Godoy was a good MLS veteran person to have in there.
Mhm.
I like the San Diego team. I think they have a good mix of new players and big signings as well as MLS veterans who know the league. I think they got they're playing in good weather, which is always a big benefit
Yeah.
to a lot of players. So I think they might, just like St. Louis did. No one expected St. Louis to do what they did. No one expected Atlanta to do what they did. You know,
Mm.
Austin Austin the second year they went up. Remember, Austin the first year was
Yeah.
not that good, and neither was Charlotte. But I think San Diego might be that next expansion team that pops off. I just have a good feeling. I think they're really ambitious. They got a lot of talent. It's just a matter of obviously they need to mesh and figure things out because of the first time they're ever playing together. But
Yeah.
yeah, and I do think they're going to get somebody big in the summer. So that's my top 3 in the West. But anyways, let's move in. We'll do this
Yeah.
super quick. I'm just gonna say
Mm.
my biggest fall in the East is going to be
Yeah.
Columbus. You lost Ramirez, you lost Aiden Morris, you lost Cucho, no replacement. You're going to need Russell Rowe to step it up. I still think they're going to be good enough to be a playoff team. They might squeak in, but they're not going to have that firepower that they once did. It seems like
Mm.
they still got some guys. They still got the defense. They still have oh my gosh, the Uruguayan winger, drawing a blank. Gio Diego Rotti, he was really good, but I think they're going to be a big drop off, obviously. And then out of the West, I think it's going to be Houston.
Yeah.
You lose Hector Herrera, you lose Coco Carrasquilla. Those were one of the best midfield duos in the league, and they're both gone now.
Yeah.
One of the biggest problems with Houston last year is they didn't have a striker. They bring in Ezekiel Ponce to put in front of those two guys, and now he's kind of left on an island now. So I like him as a player. He was really good. I know you watched a lot of Houston. I thought he was a good striker, but now it seems like he doesn't have a midfield behind him. So I expect Houston to really drop off this year. Who are your biggest falls?
Crazy thing is, Julian, both of those teams that you just said, Columbus Crew and Houston Dynamo, are my 2 biggest drop-offs as well. Listen, I agree, dude. I think bringing in the likes of Jack McGlynn, great, good.
Yeah, Jack Glenn is a good signing. Yeah,
Yeah, it's good signing, but dude, can he bring what Coco Karaski and Ache brought, especially what Coco Karaski brought? No, hell no. I mean, let's be real, bro. God, no. That's not even close, dude. And it's not to be, obviously, I'm hella bullish on my boy. I'm a ride or die simp for Coco all of my life. But dude, Jack McGlynn is still this younger developer. He's still kind of learning what I would say in a more Jack McGlynn sense, kind of not looking in the MLS perspective. I would be worried if I were Jack McGlynn. Houston Dynamo is not the really biggest selling team. They like to keep guys. And in a sense, it's good for the team because obviously, like you said, Julian, over the past 3-4 years, we've seen Houston make the playoffs. We've seen them make a conference final. You know what I mean? We've seen them go further into the playoffs than when Open Cup passed. Yeah, win a US Open Cup. The only thing is, though, for the player development, a lot of these guys just get lost in the sauce. They get completely gone, and obviously, and that's a totally separate video. If you guys want to hear about it, Coco Carrasquilla, subscribe down to the channel. But dude, I think it's just interesting. Like you said, I think the likes of that. Obviously, they lost a Paraguayan. I forgot his name. The guy had a little Darwin Nunez man bun. He's gone as well. He went back to Paraguay, so I think there's going to be a lot of missing pieces like you hit on in Columbus. Listen, I think Columbus will still make the playoffs, unlike Houston. I don't think Houston is a playoff contender any longer. I
So I have
still
faith in Wilfred Nancy.
I think, yeah, exactly. I think Wilford Nancy, I have faith in the city. I have faith in the yellow hell, whatever Columbus Crew fans want to call it. Their fun fan base, or we got in there for an opportunity. I can just talk. But I listen, I agree with you, man. I think Diego Rossi, I think the Cucho Hernandez move, is so it's just gonna be a knockout blow, dude. I really do. Obviously you said it, Russell Rowe, he's really gonna have to step up. I don't know if they signed anybody else to kind of
I love Russell Rowe too. I love me some Russell Rowe. You know that. I'd be just used for Canada.
Dude, my thing is, I see that that's the problem. I saw him in the 2023 Gold Cup, and to be real with you, Julian, I almost kind of saw, granted, that was, obviously a year and a half ago, but I kind of saw this kind of scared guy, this scared kid that just didn't want to go out and attack. Obviously, with Cucho, it was like this guy that was, you know, electrifying, on fire, going for it all. So I think I definitely see, Columbus kind of hitting that peak. Obviously they're really down from last year after getting knocked out by the New York Red Bulls in the first round of the playoffs. So I think Columbus has a lot of answers to do. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if this team does excel, if they get a top 3 or even a top 2 or top 4 finish, but I wouldn't expect it. I wouldn't expect it. But let's roll in our final one. Julian, final question I got for you, man. MVP, top goal scorer, the guy, the quarterback. Who's going to be the Heisman of the MLS this season?
I'm s it's gonna be such a lame answer and such a homer answer, but, like,
Oh,
who else other than Messi, bro? I mean, like, to be
yeah.
honest, like, obviously the reigning MVP, that was a questionable because a lot of the games that he missed, but now we're coming into a year where he's not gonna miss he doesn't have the Copa America. He's not gonna leave his hopefully he stays injury free this season, so, you know, I think he's gonna play a lot more this season. His goals per 90 minute is insane last year. And clearly, from what we saw against Kansas City in like -5-degree weather in Fahrenheit, that is,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
still looks class. He still looks unbeatable. And I think the team is better now as well.
Mhm.
It's got to be Messi. I mean, I don't know. I will say this: if it's not Messi, I got Evander. Evander's my MVP, just so to make other
Good
people
one.
happy. Like obviously, I'm gonna go with Messi, but if I had to pick anybody else, it's gonna be Evander. But who you got?
Yeah, I'm with you, dude. Messi is the layup. Obviously, he's the GOAT for a reason. You know what I mean? There's no question. He's the greatest player to ever touch the face of the earth, and I don't think in just soccer, dude. I think in every sport. I mean, he is the man. He is the Michael Jordan of our beautiful game, dude. But an outside answer, I mean, I think you said it well with Messi. I think obviously he doesn't have to worry too much about with Copa America and stuff like that. But an outside answer, I got to go with Gabriel Peck, man. Like I said, that is still understanding if he is still in the league. If this guy goes to Brazil and makes a big multi-million dollar move and he's back in Palmeiras, obviously he's going to do, I think he'll still do incredible things over there. But I realistically just feel like this guy, I think last season was kind of, I mean, it wasn't kind of, it was his stepping stone to say, you know what, I'm in the league, I'm here, I'm ready, and he showed everybody that winning an MLS Cup championship, obviously getting, if I'm not wrong, the second seed, as well. So, I think the Galaxy, they've got a lot to prove again. You know what I mean? How they've done, obviously the most winning MLS championship franchise team in our current day with 7 total trophies. Dude, listen, I think the Galaxy got a lot to prove, and I think they don't want to just honestly, I don't think they're just holding on to the MLS. I'm gonna be real. We're gonna talk about more of this later with the CCC and CONCACAF Champions Cup. I really think that they want to make some international noise, dude. I really think, like I said, that
The first MLS team to win 2 CONCACAF Champions Cup. Yeah.
that would be kind of crazy. That could be crazy, but we will see. But yeah, that is my pick.
I will say, okay, what's your final champion minus everybody wants it.
Mm,
I'm sure MLS wants it. Galaxy versus
yeah,
Miami.
that'd be crazy. That'd be
I
crazy.
think
Yeah,
Galaxy
yeah.
lose again, though.
You think? No,
Galaxy.
hey,
I think they go back to back. I think Miami lose. I think they fizzle out. And that's me
I
coming
think
from a Miami fan. I am so high on this Galaxy team. I think they are so good. They're so electric. Like you said, as long as they keep everybody, things might change. We'll do a half season like recap of all this.
yeah.
So my position, but like if I had to go right now, I just think this Galaxy team is so deep. They're so talented. They're so deep. And that's the thing that worries me in Miami is like how they're going to look in the stretch because these guys are getting older. But yeah, who you got?
Yeah, dude, I'm with you, man. Listen, I like the Inter Miami thing. I think what's happened to Inter Miami this past season is going to happen to the Galaxy. I could see a first or second round knockout. I'm going to be real, Julian. I think this is another topic. This is a whole nother day of debating with it. I hate the MLS, the playoff format. I hate that shit, dude. Nobody liked it. No,
Yeah, that's another video for another day.
we would not be talking about the Red Bulls in the championship MLS Cup game if it wasn't for this shit. They were the 7th seed for crying out loud.
Okay, I mean, Joey, you're gonna get these comments heated, dude.
Yes, and I don't care, dude. Listen, I don't care if these MLS old time ass fans want to come at me. Come at my shit, dude. Come at me. I want the fucking smoke, dude. Listen, this is it's a fraud system, whatever. But to answer your question though, Julian, I think Inter Miami will make it this season. I think they're building up. They realize the mistakes that they did last year, and I think they'll correct it. And Mascherano, I think, is the guy at the helm to be able to do it.
Mascherano worries me. So yeah.
Dude, yeah, listen, I think Seattle can make it. I think Seattle can pop one out, dude. I think they can say, you know what, let's man up, let's regroup. And I think they can, I think they're good in these types of windows. I mean, they knocked off, what was it last season? They knocked off the LAFC in the playoffs, and they did that at Los Angeles last season. So I think this is a team that's ready. Like you said, a lot of old MLS lifers. So I could see a Seattle enter Miami. I could even see potentially an LAFC enter Miami. But we will see. Julian, any final comments? Any final things you want to drop on the season?
No, that is it. I hope everybody has an enjoyable opening week this Saturday. And yeah, I wish your teams the best. So let's go on. And if you're listening to audio platforms, please make sure to follow, leave a rating. And if you're watching this on YouTube, man, leave that like and subscribe if you like the content, more MLS content, more CONCACAF, anything like that, as well as some UCL. So anyways, yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everybody.
Peace.